Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Vrinda Devi, Jaya Tulsi Maharani, Jaya Vrinda Devi. Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Vinayai.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari 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 Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Jana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanacharya Munatira Vanacharya Munatira Vanacharya Munatira Vanacharya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yamunatira Vanacharya Munatira Vanacharya Munatira Vanacharya Munatira Vanacharya Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Prabhupada Srila Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Pablikacharya Satara Sadashi Srimada's Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnavinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Premska Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaita Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktivinda Ki Jai Jai Radha Krishna Kubha Gopanashtai Makunda Radha Kunda Giri Guruna Ki Jai Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai Mayapur Navadip Dham Ki Jai Jagannatha Puri Dham Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Gaur Premanandi. All glories to some devotees. All glories to some devotees. All glories to some devotees. All glories to Shishi, Guru and Garanga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 So we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10. This is chapter 69, text number 34. We're continuing with Narada's tour of all of Krishna's palaces in Dwarka. Yajantam sakalan devan Kwapi kratu bir urjitai Portayantam quachid dharmam Korparama matadibi Yajantam sakalan devan Kwapi kratu bir urjitai Portayantam quachid dharmam Korparama matadibi Yajantam sakalan devan Kwapi kratu bir urjitai Portayantam quachid dharmam Korparama matadibi Korparama matadibi Yajantam sakalan devan Vapi kratu bir urjitai Portayantam quachid dharmam Korparama matadibi Yajantam sakalan devan Vapi kratu bir urjitai Portayantam quachid dharmam Korparama matadibi. Ladies, Yajantam sakalan devan Vapi kratu bir urjitai Portayantam quachid dharmam Korparama matadibi. Yajantam, worshiping. Sakalan, all. Devan, the demigods. Kwaapi, somewhere. Kratubi, with sacrifices. Urjitai, full-blown, purtayantam, fulfilling by civil service, quachit, somewhere, dharmam, religious obligation, korpa, with wells, arama, public parks, mata, monasteries, adibi, and so on. Translation by the disciples of Srila Prabhupada. Somewhere he was worshiping all the demigods with elaborate sacrifices. Elsewhere, he was fulfilling his religious obligations by doing public welfare work, such as the construction of wells, public parks, and monasteries. Please repeat. Somewhere he was worshiping all the demigods with elaborate sacrifices. And elsewhere he was fulfilling his religious obligations by doing public welfare work, such as construction of wells, public parks, and monasteries. There's no purport by Srila Prabhupada's disciples, but there are some short tikas by the acharyas, which I'll read. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, sometimes during Chaitra and other auspicious months, during Chaturmasya or other holy days, Krishna would worship the devas. At other times, such as celebration of the beginning of the Yuga, he would be digging wells. Jiva Goswami, he writes, he worshipped his expansions, the devatas, in deity form, and he worshipped the Vaishnavas directly, Sakalan Devan, by elaborate sacrifices and worship. He performed actions of purti, piety. Instead of matadibi, sometimes alayadibi temples is seen. So sometimes in some versions, instead of building monasteries, it says he's building temples. Sanatana Goswami, he writes, he worshipped the devatas who were his vibhutis, sakalan, or he worshipped devatas even though they were his expansion, or he worshipped his Vishnu forms, devan, though they were his expansions, sakalan, by great sacrifices. He executed public works as part of dharma by making wells, parks, and temples. Adibi indicates ponds and lakes. The list is in order of increasing excellence. So the most excellent thing is the temples and the monasteries. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pastai Buddhale Shumati Bhakti Vedanta Swaminityanamane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharani Nirvasesa Shunyavadi Praschadeshtarni Vanchakalpa Turubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Vevacha Patitanam Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Dvaiti Gadadhar Shivasati Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Yesterday, when Maharaj, Bir Krishna Maharaj was giving class, at the very end, I don't know if it was just a comment that you made right after the class or at the very end of the class, Maharaj says, well, we worship Krishna when he's a boy, when he's a youth, when he's in Vrindavan, when he doesn't... He's not setting any good example there. From the very beginning of his life in Vrindavan, he was setting, quote, bad examples, stealing butter, stealing the gopis' clothes, playing with his friends in all sorts of ways and getting in trouble, like all the kids got stolen by Brahma. He's not setting. Brahma thought, how can he be God? What's going on here? And then, of course, the most scandalous things, he's, with the gopis, and it's a rumor that goes on all the time about what's going on with Krishna and Radha, etc. So he's not setting a very good example. Later on, after he goes to Mathura, things change. I mean, immediately when he goes to Mathura, he stops being the son of Nanda and Yashoda, and he's now acting as the son of Vasudeva and Devaki. And of course, they're Kshatriyas, and they have got a lot of duties, and they send him to Gurukula, and before you know it, he's a prince or a king, and he's wearing all these fine clothes, and he's he's running Dwarka. I mean, he's a big man in society. Before he was, he was a beloved rascal. So this is Krishna. He's got two moods, and actually, it's really in a sense two Krishnas. It's not two Krishnas, but it's Krishna in two different modalities. The Krishna in Vrindavan never leaves Vrindavan, and the Krishna that we're seeing now is Vasudeva Krishna. I mean, he's totally Krishna, but he's not the little blue cowherd boy who's making mischief in Vrindavan. Some scholars, and they ruin everything, Prabhupada would call so-called scholars or rascal scholars, they even make this claim that when they read, they read everything very academically and tearing things apart and with their speculation, that the Krishna who spoke Bhagavad Gita had to be a different person than the Krishna who was in Vrindavan. And he is, but he isn't. And Prabhupada, he had a very interesting, I was looking up Krishna in Vrindavan. Krishna, I put into the Vani quotes, Krishna never leaves Vrindavan, and then I get this incredible quote by Srila Prabhupada, coming from a class that he gave in 1972 in Ahmedabad, and he's talking about Krishna in Vrindavan. In the class, this is a class on Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, and this verse 1. But Jayarada Madhava Kunja Bihari. He, that's Krishna, he has no concern. He doesn't care what is happening here. But it does not mean that he doesn't care, but he has no anxiety how things are being managed. When it is mismanaged, then sometimes Krishna comes in his Vasudeva form. Not the original Krishna. Original Krishna never leaves Vrindavan. Padam ekam nagachati. He is always in his abode. Chintamani prakarasad mashu kalpa vriksha laksha vriteshu surabir rabi palayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Shatasam Brahma Sevyamanam Govindam Adi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. He is very much adhered to his cows, Surabir Rabi Palayantam. And he's surrounded by hundreds of thousands of goddesses of fortune, these gopis. He is surrounded. Lakshmi Sahasra Shatasam Brahma Sevyamanam. We are praying to the goddess of fortune for some favor. But in the spiritual world, Krishna is served by hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune. That is Krishna's position. So Krishna's position in Vrindavan, he's like the CEO. He goes off onto, he goes to the golf course and says, turn my phone off. I don't want to be bothered. I'm playing golf and I'm not being bothered. But he has a COO, the Chief Operating Officer, that's Vasudeva Krishna. He also is not working that hard. He's at home and maybe throwing a pool party or something like that, but he does have his cell phone on. And when the message comes in, he'll take care of it. And of course, lower down, we've got, regional managers like Lord Brahma, etc. The most important persons, though, in Krishna's administration, at least for us, are his salesmen. And the salesmen are like Srila Prabhupada, they're Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. They're the great devotees who are personal associates of Krishna, and they're coming to actually give Krishna consciousness. And in a sense, they are more merciful than Krishna, because they're going out into the material world and giving Krishna to everyone. Whereas Krishna, he's having his good time in the spiritual world. But as Lord Chaitanya, Krishna actually takes this position of the salesman too. He comes as a devotee into this material world and teaches everyone how to become Krishna conscious. That includes even his closest associates like Rupa and Sanat Goswami. Big sections of the Chaitanya Charitamrita are dedicated to his instructions to Rupa and Sanat Goswami. Of course, they needed to learn nothing, but the lessons are there for us. And of course, there's another example where he takes instructions from Ramananda Roy. Ramananda Roy is Vishaka, sometimes people say Lalita, but the point is he's one of the most close associates of Radha and Krishna. And he's giving instructions to Lord Chaitanya. So Lord Chaitanya comes as an example for us how to become Krishna conscious. But let's turn back to Krishna here in his Dwarka mood. And here he is doing all these pious activities in order that he sets a good example. I mean, good leaders, they do good for their citizens. And what's he doing? He's setting an example of worshiping the demigods. And remember, in the 10 offenses, it says that we shouldn't equate the demigods on an equal level of Krishna, Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva. Their names they're not equivalent to Lord to Krishna. But it's also understood that we shouldn't disrespect these demigods. So here, Krishna, he's worshiping the demigods as a matter of form, the form of the king in the kingdom. And even we see in Vrindavan, we see Nanda and Yashoda, they're worshiping Narayan, even though Krishna is living in their house. And Radharani on some of the excursions being done just for pastimes, she's going to worship the sun god at his temple. So there is some room here for worshiping the demigods, but it's being done here as an example for everyone else. And it also says, by Jiva Goswami said, he worshipped his expansions, the devatas. And so he's actually, like before he was meditating on himself, here he's worshiping his expansions, but he worships the Vaishnavas directly. So we can turn to Bhagavad Gita and we can hear from the Bhagavad Gita exactly why he does this. And Krishna it's a point that's being made that within the society, we have spirit. Varnashram it's two parts. You've got the spiritual ashrams in which we are placed, and those spiritual ashrams, sannyas, brahmachari, vanaprastha, grihastha. These are our situations where we, have a firm footing in a material. It's not material, but it is material. In other words, grihastas, we live in the material world, or vanaprasthas, they live in the material world, and there's certain rules. And then, of course, there's the spiritual side. That's the spiritual side. Then there's the work side, brahmana, kshatriya, vaishya, and shudra. So the things that are being done here are really meant to be Krishna the Kshatriya. And what does a Kshatriya do? Well, a good Kshatriya or a good leader is a good example to his followers. Today we've got a good example of bad leaders showing people how to act in gross, vulgar, stupid, and bewildered ways, dangerous ways. But the real leader is yad yad achara. This is verse 21 of chapter 3. Yad yad acharati shreshtas tad tad eva tarojana sayat pramanam kurute lokas tad anuvartate. Whatever action a great man performs, common men follow, and whatever standards he sets as by exemplary acts, all the world pursues. We're in big trouble today. And Prabhupada writes in the purport, people in general always require a leader who can teach the public by practical behavior. This is what Krishna is doing in Dwarka. And it's not just, it's not just for Dwarka, it's for everybody. Everybody coming for the ages afterwards. By public example. And Prabhupada has an interesting next sentence. A leader cannot teach the public to stop smoking if he himself smokes. And whenever I read this, I always think of my high school biology teacher, Mr. Kramer. And Mr. Kramer would always stand up and say, "Don't smoke cigarettes. It's terrible for you." But he smelled this cologne because it's covering up all his cigarette smoking. And as soon as the class was over, he was in the teacher's lounge, smoking as many as he could. So we always used to joke about him, that he wore all this cologne to cover up the smoke. Because he would tell us things, and no one believed him then, because of what good is your instruction? Anyway, the next verse. Name partasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nanavaptam avaptavyam varta eva cha karmani. O son of Prita, there is no work prescribed for me within all the three planetary systems, nor am I in want of anything, nor have I any need to obtain anything. And yet I am engaged in prescribed duties. Krishna is described as Atmarama, self-satisfied, and Aptakama, which means anything he wants, he just gets. So, it's not like he has to act a certain way in order to get some result. Prabhupada writes in his purport, part of the purport here, since everything is in full opulence in the personality of Godhead and is existing in full truth, there is no duty for the Supreme Personality of Godhead to perform. He doesn't have to act, in an exemplary way. And in Vrindavan, he really doesn't. That's why Vrindavan's so special, because, Lord Ram, he acts a certain way. He's very, very proper, Maryada. And to pretty much, Krishna, after he leaves Vrindavan, he also acts that way. He's pretty proper. I mean, he's not, I'm trying to think, he's not doing, he's doing certain things in the battlefield of Kurukshetra, like tricking Jayadratha so he gets killed, and telling Ram to, Arjuna to shoot the arrow at Karna, even though Karna's in a position when he shouldn't have the arrow shot. He's breaking some rules. But he's pretty much setting a good example. And in the other incarnations, they all have certain duties. So the full so there's nothing he has to do, but yet he's still doing something. One who must receive the results of work has some designated duty, but one who has nothing to achieve within the three planetary systems certainly has no duty. And yet Lord Krishna is engaged in the battlefield of Kurukshetra as the leader of all of the Kshatriyas, because the Kshatriyas are duty-bound to give protection to the distressed. Although he is above all the regulations of the revealed scriptures, he does not do anything that violates the revealed scriptures. So this is Krishna after he leaves Vrindavan. But he's still completely, he's the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but he's now acting in ways as an example. We can continue. Yadi hyaman navartevyam jatu karman yatendriyata mamavart manuvartante manusha parta sarvashaha. For if I fail to engage in carefully performing prescribed duties, O Partha, certainly all men would follow my path. Well, if God does it, then I'll do it. Well, God does a lot of things like lift Govardhan Hill, so try that. That's later on in a purport. Prabhupada writes, in order to keep the balance of social tranquility for progress in spiritual life, there are traditional family usages meant for every civilized man. Although such rules and regulations are for the conditioned souls and not Lord Krishna, because he descended to establish the principles of religion, he followed the prescribed rules. Otherwise, common men would follow in his footsteps because he is the greatest authority. From the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is understood that Lord Krishna was performing all the religious duties at home and out of home as required for a householder. But he doesn't have to, but he's doing it so everyone can say, here's Krishna, he's doing this. This is God, he's doing this. And for those who, we're very fortunate because we've been given the opportunity to serve Radha Golokananda in this special happy Vrindavan mood. But Krishna, for the most part, for most people, for most of everybody in this material world, he sets the example as a great leader. In the last verse, I'll read here, I'll just read the English here. If I did not perform prescribed duties, all these worlds would be put to ruination. In order to keep the material world functional, Krishna has to do these things. I would be the cause of creating unwanted population, and I would thereby destroy the peace of all living beings. That's a pretty strong statement. So Krishna is saying, these things have to be done. I will do these things. And Prabhupada writes, Varna Sankara is unwanted population which disturbs the peace of general society. In order to check this social disturbance, there are prescribed rules and regulations by which the population can automatically become peaceful and organized for spiritual progress in life. Our regulated principles are just to make things peaceful so that we can live a peaceful life, try to come to the mode of goodness. The average person today, there's so much noise going on in this world. All this stuff to do. And it's all, degrading. To some extent. There are some people going to concerts of nice, fine music and engaging in kind of more refined activities. But more and more we're finding people just go out, get intoxicated, and throw things at things. They just do weird stuff. And the people who are held up as examples, they're like lewd. It's really, horrible. But Krishna says here, or Prabhupada says here, that Krishna is setting the example. The Lord is the Father of all living entities, and if the living entities are misguided, indirectly the responsibility goes to the Lord. Therefore, whenever there's general disregard of regulated principles, the Lord himself descends and corrects the society. Yada hida dharma glanir bhavati bharata. He's coming to this material world to fix things. Following and imitating are not on the same level. We cannot imitate the Lord by lifting Govardhan Hill as the Lord did in his childhood. It is impossible for any human being. We have to follow his instructions, but we may not imitate him at any time. So, how to understand everything? Well, we can turn now again to, let's talk about Lord Chaitanya, and let's talk about Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami. He writes, In Adi Leela chapter 17, beginning with verse 304, how we should actually accept Krishna or Lord Chaitanya. And it's very instructive because I'll just let the instructions be what they are. It's very instructive. So we're beginning with verse 304, and this is Krishna Kaviraj Goswami writing. He is Krishna. Lord Chaitanya is Krishna. He is Krishna, yet he has accepted the mood of the gopis. How is it so? It is the inconceivable character of the Lord which is very difficult to understand. Everything that we're hearing is difficult to understand if we maintain the Dr. Frog mentality. I got to figure it out. I really have to figure this out somehow. No. We have to open ourselves up and let Krishna fill in what we need to know. It's not us trying to grasp it. Next verse. One cannot understand the contradictions in Lord Chaitanya's character by putting forward mundane logic and arguments. Consequently, one should not maintain doubts in this connection. One should simply try to understand the inconceivable energy of Krishna. Otherwise, one cannot understand how such contradictions are possible. You can't figure this out. How can God be dancing with other men's wives in the middle of the night? I mean, that's impossible. You can't do it. Just put it out of our head. And that's why, as Maharaj is saying, we don't delve into the deeper aspects of these pastimes, because it's beyond our little brains. We have to open up our consciousness to have him fill in how to understand. And that's done by following the instructions of our Gurudev and listening to these pastimes. Next verse. The pastimes of Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu are inconceivable and wonderful. His ecstasy is wonderful. His qualities are wonderful, and his behavior is wonderful. Everything is sweet about the Emperor of Sweetness. We do that. We say that prayer sometimes. So, Lord Chaitanya is the Emperor of Sweetness also. If one simply adheres to mundane arguments and therefore does not accept this, and this is heavy, he will boil in the hell of Kumbhipaka. For there is no deliverance for him there is no deliverance. We have to remember that sometimes the acharyas, they have a bhav. So this is Kaviraj Goswami's bhava here, which is like, if you don't accept this, you're just going to hell. Next verse. This is a quote from Mahabharata. Anything transcendental to material nature is called inconceivable, whereas arguments are all mundane. Since mundane arguments cannot touch transcendental subject matters, one should not try to understand transcendental subjects through mundane arguments. Only a person who has firm faith in the wonderful pastimes of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can approach his lotus feet. Complete faith. What is that faith? My Guru has given me Lord Chaitanya's mercy. My Guru, Prabhupada, or my Guru who's a servant of Prabhupada. This is an unbroken chain of disciplic succession of sincere devotees delivering the message of Lord Chaitanya. Next verse. In this discourse, I have explained the essence of the development of the essence of devotional conclusion. Anyone who hears this develops unalloyed devotional service to the Lord. Now, it doesn't say when, but it will happen. So, this is the wonderful, inconceivable, total mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who appears in the pages of Srimad Bhagavatam and who also comes to us in the form of our Gurudev. Srila Prabhupada's mercy is that he delivered this to everyone, all over the world. It's inconceivable. It's beyond anything can understand, except through the mercy of Guru and Gauranga. Stop there. As questions, comments, I think there's a minute.
Interesting point on this related
Yeah.
to the difference between, Krishna and Vrindavan and Krishna outside Vrindavan. Generally, we hear the Ramanujacharya Vaishnavas, Sri Vaishnavas, worshiping Vishnu in the
Yeah.
expansion of Krishna. But then, I was reflecting on this morning, their main acharya, Jamunacharya, prays to Krishna rather than to Vishnu. That famous verse, yada yada.
Yeah.
Since I've been tasting new and newer nectar at the lotus feet of Krishna. You remember that?
Yeah.
It's just really
Yeah.
interesting
Yeah.
that he's actually focused on Krishna, and he's the main acharya that Ramanuja Sampradaya, and they're focused on Lord Krishna. I think they're exactly thinking Vishnu is supreme and not Krishna.
Well, maybe this is Maharaj bringing up the point that in the Ramanuja Sampradaya, they're focused on Vishnu, but Yamunacharya, who's their main acharya, before Ramanujacharya, he prays to Krishna. So this is interesting. Perhaps it's just a subtle way of getting them to worship Krishna indirectly by worshiping Vishnu. Yeah, it is interesting. There are so many twists and turns in the philosophy, but we just follow Gurudev and we'll somehow understand. Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Enam Kanvandam Aravindadalaya Taksham Varhavatam Samasitam Buddhasundarangam Kandar Akom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobham Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalen Priya Priti Manti Vasyan Vipan Vikayanti Chiram Gaganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham
Namaho Vishnupataya Krishna Prishnaya Bhutalaya Shri Mate Makti Vedanta Samaniti Navinay Namaste, Saraswati Deve, Gauravani Sha, Nege Nivesesha, Shunavale, Vasachagode, Jatarinai. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Ramanachanana Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Gauracharana Shri Krishna Niranavu Ramanachananavu Siyadwaita Gata Sivasadi Gaurvaturina Shri Krishna Nayana Ramanachanana Shri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaurvaturina Gadadhara Sivasadi Gaurvaturina Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Goloka na 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 na, Goloka na 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 Hey, Hare Jai Om Vishnupad. Paramahamsa, Victoria, Shima, His Divine Grace. Abhaya Chamananda, Bhaktivedanta, Goswami, Srila Prabhupada, ISKCON founder, Srila Prabhupada, Ananda Koti, Vaishnava, Namacharya, Srila Stuff.
Harinam Sankirtan tomorrow between 2 and 4 in Chapel Hill. We'll meet at the post office on Franklin Street. Just dress warm, but it's going to be a nice day. And we'll be walking around Nagar Sankirtan. Haribo. Chaito Darpanam Marjanam Bhava Mahadavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairavyan. Beautiful, as usual. I'm glad you liked it. Nice rose. Bhuti Vardhanam Pratinam Amrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Paramvijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrapitani Amita Smarane Nakala Etad Rishita Vakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midvishame Hajjani Nanuraga Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Suhishuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Va Jagadisha Kamae Mama Janmani Ishvare Bhavatad Bhaktir Hoitaki Twai Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishame Bhavam Buddha Kripayata Vavada Pankaja Stita Duli Sadrushem Vachintaya Nayanam Galadashru Daraya Varanam Gad Garudaya Gira Pulakarnishitam Vapukada Tavanamagrahane Bhavishyati Yugayatam Namishena Chakshusha Pravashayatam Shunayatam Jagat Sarvam Govindam Virahename Ashlishyava Padamritam Banastumam Adarshanam Marma Hatakarotuva Yatatatava Vidadatulam Pato Mat Prananatastusa Eva Napara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss, and it enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. O my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names you've invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. O my Lord, out of kindness you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw on the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. O Almighty Lord,